I just accepted a 16 item, $12.25 offer from DoorDash from Jersey Mike. Is this going to be a case of fool me once and shame on you? Or is it going to be fool me twice and shame on me? Check out this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, thanks for stopping by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below in this segment or in other segments on my channel. And if you're returning to the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming back. Now, with this segment of the Gig Geezer, I am going back to a customer whom I recall being highly steamed about, and that's putting it nicely. On that particular day, if memory serves me correct, it was during the midst of a second half hustle on a day in which I accomplished having made $200 in my daily hustle for the 40th consecutive day. If memory serves me correct, I've provided at least a clip of my emotion of that drop off in which I felt that I got stiffed. The Gig Geezer took an L on that one. Just what I was mostly concerned about. The reason why I tend not to take orders less than $8, especially in situations like that, is because you set yourself up for disappointment in this market. That's a tricky number, $6, 75 cents. You would think that order would pay $10 at a minimum. It paid $7.50. Now to set up this delivery even more, if memory serves me correct, on that order previously it was from O'Charlie's. There was 9 items, and the order showed a payment. The order showed an offer of $7.50. I was thinking, because of where the order was being picked up from and the number of items, that order would pay more than what it did. There was a $2.50 base, and the order had only a $5 tip. So that's what got me on steam, because this person calls himself, I felt the person was getting over on us. It was delivered to a brand new part of an already brand new subdivision. Now, the hard part's already been done. As you see here, that is the receipt of this order, $163 worth of items. Also, what I failed to show was an order that I passed up on once I saw this order request that come through. That order was a $9 Bite Squad order that was going in the opposite direction, but I felt that would have been enough for me to call it a first half hustle. At this juncture now, I am 3.5 hours into my first half hustle. I have altogether made $81 or $82. It is slow, no doubt. It is slow out here, but I've managed to catch the right ones. And what I mean by that, I happened to catch a couple of point pickups that paid a total of $31.70. As you can tell on the screen with DoorDash, as you can already tell on that screen with DoorDash, and I'm putting it up again, I had one DoorDash order that paid $15. I also had an actual Waiter/Bite Squad order that I completed for $22.26. And my very first pickup, or very first completed order today, was a Uber Eats for $12.93. Now, what's interesting with a lot of my first half hustles, and I can even say for second half hustles, a lot of times it seems like you actually do a circle. Things kind of go in a circle. People often say life is like a circle. Oftentimes what I find is that where I picked up my first order, at least in the vicinity of where I picked up my first order, or where I even dropped off the order, somehow I end up coming back out to that area. And that's exactly what's happened so far today. I'm doing this segment out of curiosity because I just want to see what this person do this time. Pretty much the crazy the trap with DoorDash is that, well, what the trap that can occur with DoorDash sometimes, in fact maybe oftentimes, is that you may remember that person whom you felt stiff you, but you don't know when you're going to get that person. Now, I've also described how there's this family that lives out by the lake in the northwest sector of Columbia. I mean, they live in a mansion. I'm talking the vehicles in their lot. The least valued vehicle is a BMW. And when I first started completing deliveries to them, they tipped very well. I mean, $40, $50 tips on top of their orders. And then the more times I accepted orders from them, it seemed as if the tips got lower and lower and lower, to the point where if I saw where that order was going in the vicinity, I would pass. Now, I don't work that area anymore for logistical reasons. The main reason is that I moved from that part of the Columbia metropolitan area to where I don't work that area primarily, if that makes any sense. In other words, I don't work that area because I don't live over there. All right, picking up action now. We are literally right down the road from the subdivision that is where this, if memory serves me correct, was a cheap customer last month. I don't know what to think. Now, this order also happened to be one of those catering orders in which you had to take a picture of your catering bag. And now, typically, or at least your inclination is, if it's a catering order, it's going to pay more typically than what the offer is, at least most times. But I've had experiences in which what you saw is what you're going to get. And I've had some real humdinger of situations where I've had to take pictures of catering bag orders, and they really were disappointing. One that comes to mind most recently was on Saturday, this past Saturday, April 16th, in which I accepted an $8 offer from PDQ. The receipt was $410. The order paid $8 and there was zero tip. I got away from that customer as soon as I could, as fast as I could. I didn't even look back. But I've had other orders in which, not including this person, in which what was shown on the offer sheet, what was shown on the offer page was exactly what I got. So I'm turning onto the street where this customer is. There are still homes being still put up in this particular subdivision. All right, before we find out exactly what this order paid, hey, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Well, that order paid exactly as offered. $12.25. $7.50 base, $5 tip. And that's on $163. That's why I took a picture of the receipt, as you see there. Also, that's why I documented this particular delivery as I have and given as much background information as I have. I wanted y'all to see whether it was actually shame on you or shame on me for having gone through with this delivery. And this happens sometimes. We make decisions like that. Was it a thirsty decision? Possibly. Was it a calculated guess? More than likely, based on what the offer was. And I guess what you always hold out and hope for is that maybe it was just an aberration the last time. But when you see the actual habits of how people tip and on these orders, then you don't want to have anything to do with them. And I certainly don't want to have anything to do with Ryan R. That's who the person's name is. I don't usually give out names of people, but Ryan R., you are officially on my Dookie list. I will unassign that order next time. The only way I would not unassign that order is if my completion rate was at 80%. But my completion rate is around 89, so I got a little wiggle room there. Now, are there any other lessons learned? I guess there's really not a lesson to be learned with this. These things happen. This happens in the course of your hustle. This happens in the course of your experience as doing gig delivery work. I've got thousands of deliveries behind me. DoorDash, according to the app, almost 4,500 completed deliveries. Grubhub, at least 3,000. Waiter/Bite Squad, probably in upwards of 1,000. Uber Eats, well over 2,000 completed deliveries. Roadie, over at least 800 completed gigs that on that app. And then if I were to throw in Amazon Flex and all the stops that I made doing the Federal Express, I've got thousands of actual gig economy deliveries. And that's not even include rideshare, where I got over 3,000 completed rides for Uber and another 1,600 for Lyft. Again, thousands. So in the greater scheme of things, sham customers like that, that's less than 0.0001%. And there's an old saying, water off your back, and I guess that's where I'm at. But for the hustle, I'm at $94.14. That was accomplished in about 3.75 hours. That puts me in decent position for the second half hustle. A month ago, when Brian R. happened to be in that segment of the Gig Geezer, I'd completed 40 consecutive days in which I earned $200 or more in my daily hustle, in which I completed both a first and second half hustle. And that winning streak went on to end at 44 days. I'm on a new winning streak in which I'm over 21 days now. And so we'll see with that. But for now, hey, shame on me. 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 Oh, by the way, yes, you notice I've got another shirt on. And actually, the continuation of this segment of the Gig Geezer is into another day, April 21st, 2022. The reason why I decided to continue on with this segment is because as I went out during the second hustle, it just dawned upon me. I've seen other drivers on their channels talk about the use of this app called Para. And Para is one of the main features about Para is its ability to give you insight on DoorDash orders and those so-called hidden tips or even possible unicorn tips. Quite frankly, had I used Para yesterday on Ryan R.'s order, I may not even have the content for this segment of the Gig Geezer. Para would have showed me that the order would have offered $12.25. The tip would have been $5, which is what Ryan tipped on another order, as I've mentioned earlier in this segment of the Gig Geezer. And I could have made a decision right then and there not to accept the order once I realized where it was going. Now I decided, for whatever reason, about halfway to 3/4 into my hustle last night, that I would try to use this Para app, since I've noticed other content creators have begun talking about this app and whether it is accurate, whether it is as advertised. And so it was kind of slow. I was not doing as well as I thought that I should have. And so I turned it on actually after accepting an order from Outback Steakhouse. The offer amount was $9. Well, looking in the Para, it said that this offer was going to pay $23.15. Now, when I went back into the app and looked at where this order was going, I recognized that I delivered to this address previously, and that that previous order that I delivered actually paid more than what was offered, but I didn't recall them being as generous tippers. And so when I saw that this order paid $23.14, I'm like, maybe there is something to this pair. And then there were a bunch of other offers that came through, the typical McDonald's and Taco Bell and places that are basically 99% declines for me. And then there was another offer that came through, $20.50, $20.50 from Pasta Fresca. Now, I was going to accept that order regardless. However, when I looked into the Para app, it gave me insight on how much the order was actually going to pay. It showed that it was going to pay $26.75. Well, after hitting the complete delivery tab, the order paid $26.75. Now, for me, what happened was, when I recognized the Outback Steakhouse order was predicting to pay $23.15, that gave a little more urgency for me to complete that order. And then with Pasta Fresca, how it affected me was that by then, now we're beyond 3/4 of the way into my hustle. Now I'm at around $180, and this order will actually be the ball game for me. Had the order only paid $20.50, I would have to be out for another order so that I could make at least $200 or more. Well, that order enabled me to finish a little earlier, in that I completed the evening hustle in 3.25 hours. I made $114.14 for that hustle, and for the entire day, I made $205.80 if memory serves me correct. But it was nice to see an app that gave me insight on certain orders. It was nice to see an app that gave me insight on certain orders that may affect my decision one way or another. And so, if for nothing else, yes, I probably should have used that app. And with that, this is another segment of the Gig Geezer. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle continue.